The older he gets, the hornier he gets.
We'll put that at the start of the video.
Nice. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the dog. Nice. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the dog. Nice. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the dog.
Hello, Fraser. Nice to see you and take time out of your day to chat to me.
James, nice to see you live for a change. Yes,
Yes.
It's great. I'm out, as you can see, I'm out and about in the sunshine with the dog. We're out for a walk with the dog. Well, I'm out for a walk with the dog. So a different. I'm not sitting at my organ for a change. So yes,
No,
fresh
good.
air. This is very important.
Might be time to get some fresh air.
It looks kind of fresh. What time is it there?
It's lunchtime here, Saturday lunchtime, and it was a very cold night. But as you can see, it's a lovely sunny day, so it might warm up a little bit. We're definitely heading into autumn here, and hence the jacket, that's my Audi jacket from my
Audi jacket.
car channel, by the way.
Yeah. You should get one that says Gartshore's Garage. Get some merch going.
Yeah, I should, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you should get some merch from your channel. You should get some merch for your channel.
For the organ channel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. Well, you see, I'm not into organ shoes. I'm not into fancy socks. I'm not into. I don't know what could I do. Organ underpants, but no one sees that. You see.
Okay, then you won't mind if we check the seat of your jockeys for Hershey squirts, will you?
That's not going to work.
Do you wear scarves?
Oh no! I'm not into colourful scarves. I'm not that kind of chap. Okay.
Check out this.
Oh my God, it's a bundaberg. I had a bundaberg last night on my live stream.
Very timely because you were talking about it in your live stream last night and got one of these myself. Yeah. Lemon lime bitters though.
Nice one.
Not ginger beer.
There's a nice link to it. Yeah. I've had some of the other bundaberg stuff. It's claimed to be from Australia, but if you read the small print, it's made up in the north of Germany under license.
Under license.
But, at least it claims to be Australian. So there you are. So
how are you? At least they weren't copyright claims then.
Oh, good idea. Yeah. How are you doing?
Now, good. It's about 10 p.m. and I was just watching the 3rd episode of Squid Games.
What's Squid Games?
I don't know. Everyone seems to be watching it. It's like a trending Korean show on Netflix. Really popular.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. We don't even have a television, so I'm not really in on things like that.
Okay.
No, Vanessa and I don't do TV. We have a TV set upstairs in the organ room, but I use it as a monitor for live stream, and that's it. We don't watch TV. We have better things to do.
Yeah, like practice your G major 541.
Something like that. Oh God. Yeah.
I listened to that again today because I was kind of half asleep when I was watching because it was 7 a.m. when that stream started.
Okay.
Yeah, and I went on a walk this afternoon and I listened to it again. No, it was really good. For 24 hours ago, that's pretty good.
I was going to say I was half asleep when I was playing it. So
what do you do after your live stream at night? What do you do to wind down?
Well, basically, I tidy up all the equipment because I'll show it one day. It's a massive. I better be careful with the sun shining in our faces. It's a massive cables in the organ room, all the sort of cameras and HDMI cables flying here and there, all different things. So that gets all tidied up. And then I head downstairs and basically go for a walk with the dog. What I'm doing now. It's quite handy having a dog. He needs to go out at least 2 times a day. So that's my wind down after the concert. Take him out for a wander.
What time did that finish for you?
How long did we go last night? It was about... Oops, I'm falling over a stone, sorry. It's live. It's all live. It's all live. What time was it? How long did we go? About an hour 45, I think, last night, wasn't it? So yeah. So what was that? That was 1:45 last night when we finished.
Okay.
So by the time I got the dog out, got everything sorted, it was about 1 o'clock when we ended up going to bed finally. So, but that's normal. Vanessa and I are not morning people by any stretch of the imagination. We're definitely, look at that, happy dog. We're definitely not morning people. We're vampires, basically. We go out during the night. So.
I believe in vampires.
Yes, that's our lives. That's our lives. So yes, this is exciting. Thank you for inviting me to take part in this. It's always good fun. Talking about organs and organ music. It's a weird world, isn't it?
I think everyone just wants to hear you play more Bach now.
Oh no. That's not going to happen. When I did that survey on the live stream last week, I was really hoping that Vian or Vidor would come up, because that's more my kind of music. That's the sort of stuff I can almost sight read. And like I say, playing Bach takes work. And I'm going to be 50 in 1.5 years' time. You know, I'm too old to work. That's.
I'd show you, but I'm too old. I'm too tired.
Those days are over.
I feel bad now because I've been working on the 543, the A minor, for almost a couple of months now. And if you can learn the 541 in 24 hours, then I better get a move on and record mine.
Let's call it 48 hours. I started it. Well, no, I suppose you're right. I sort of started it on and off through the week, looking at bits of it. And then on Thursday night, I thought, okay, I better get this practiced. So, yeah. And I don't know. I sort of forced myself to learn things from time. Well, I do force myself, to learn things from time to time. And when I learned things as a younger guy, I would always try to memorize them immediately. And I was quite amazed that I still could do that, even at this late stage in life. And that seemed to work rather nicely. So
isn't it called Murphy's Law? Basically, a job will take the amount of time that you allocate to it. So if you've only got 48 hours to learn this piece of Bach, you'll do it in 48 hours. Is that what it is?
So it's a kind of, is that a psychological thing?
Yeah.
Might be.
It was psychological, not physical.
So if I had a month to learn this thing for a recital, then it just has to get done in a month.
Or is it that sort of last minute thing? When I was at university and we had to hand in essays, things, it was always sort of 12 hours before the deadline. Oh God, I better get this done now. So you just sit down and do it. Is it that kind of thing?
Yeah.
When the pressure's on, you just do it. Yeah.
When I was at university, I always I was a student that would get everything done straight away so I could relax.
Oh, no.
I wasn't a last minute person.
Oh no. I'm inherently lazy. So everything's last minute. Everything is last minute in my life. Yes. Let's change the subject. Look at that beautiful countryside. This is where I live. Isn't that nice?
That's great.
Yeah.
Where are the roads?
Joys of the German countryside. Oh, we don't have roads. It's a third world country out here. We have cows and farm tracks. That's all we have.
Yeah.
I hope the internet connection holds out. I'm walking up quite far from the village, but we should be all right. I can see the mobile phone mast from here, so we should be all right.
Internet in Australia is pretty poor, very poor.
Really?
That's why you don't really see many Australian live streams. I've tried it a few times. It's just it's too slow, upload wise.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think I suppose for the mobile phone connection, 4G connection, 4 and 5G would be good, but it's just expensive for data.
It depends how much data volume you've got. I recently tried. In a future live stream, we're going to do it from a church, or from our church in Hirschbach. And we took all the equipment out there to the church to test it out, and I did it over my mobile phone, which has a good 4G connection in that village in Hirschbach. And that seemed to work fine. So there were no frames dropped. Data volume was okay. I've got 12 gigabytes per month. Yeah. So the average stream only seems to take up about half a gig per hour.
That's pretty good.
Something like that. So it's not too bad. And that's a 1080 stream, 1080p. So that seems to be okay.
Do you upload your videos?
Trying that live.
Do you upload your videos in 4K?
Sometimes. It depends.
I uploaded mine in 4K last time, and it didn't I can't seem to select 4K when I watch the video. I'm not sure what I did wrong.
That's weird. Okay, that's weird. It should do. I did a few videos in 4K, but nobody commented. Nobody seemed to notice.
Nobody seems to know what's happening.
So just simply for time saving, I'm back to 1080 at the moment.
Yeah.
Quality wise, it's fine. Nothing wrong with 1080p. Obviously.
Yeah. In time,
Obviously
will become
works.
the standard 4K.
I think it will eventually, as standards improve. Well, look at this. I had an interview with Wayne Marshall yesterday, international organ legend, and Wayne and I talked quite a lot about technology, and we both sort of agreed, that the simplicity of technology these days is quite amazing. And well, imagine trying to do this 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
When YouTube was still in its infancy, cameras at the time were very expensive for a decent quality camera, and none of this would have been possible. So with the increases in technology, the advances in internet speeds and all that sort of thing, it's made our lives as professional musicians. Hold on, I think I need to change my arms here. I'm pointing in the wrong direction. There we are. Looks like a Microsoft advert in the background, doesn't it?
He has Gates saying there would now be more innovations from Jobs that Microsoft could copy.
You're a Mac person. You're not a Microsoft person, are you? No.
I have a Windows PC. I use a Windows PC occasionally. Occasionally I translate from German into English. There's an agency I sometimes work for where I do some translation work. It's not very much. And funnily enough, it's mainly IT based. And I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's, I can translate the words. That's not a problem. And for that, I have a Windows PC because I need Word and all those sort of Windows programs. So that's useful. But no, I've been a Mac man. I've been a Mac man since university. When I studied at Edinburgh University, we were very advanced in those days. Now, I started studying in 1990. It's a long time ago. And
I wasn't born yet. I was born.
We were one. I was going to say, my wife was born in 1990, so that makes me feel old. Yes, we have a bit of an age difference. So there you are. We at the University of Edinburgh, we were one of the first unis to have Mac systems that we used for notation purposes, and that was what became Sibelius later in life. And from pretty much day one, I was quite impressed with all this technology. And as soon as I could afford it, I bought myself my first Mac computer, which was an old. I mean, this was quite a bit later, but it was one of the first iMacs. Remember them?
Yes.
Sort of with
the colored ones.
That's right. Yeah, I had a blue iMac. Yeah, that's right.
Macs are expensive, but I used to use Windows computers a lot, but when you're in the Apple ecosystem, it just works. Exactly. And I don't have time. I don't want to be playing. I want to be, playing with it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you don't want to be tinkering with it. That's right.
No.
It's when I started setting up my Outwork system, some colleagues suggested, get yourself a new PC with 500,000 gigabytes of RAM and all this sort of stuff. And it's much better, and it'll only cost you 5,000 euros, and it'll only do this. And I thought, well, my iMac, which is old, 4 years old now, 4.5 years old, it can take up to 64 gigs of RAM, and that's more than enough to run most sample sets and Outwork. Maybe not all the channels of all the. I have to be careful here. I'm walking through muddy woods. Sorry. I'm wearing my organ shoes and walking through muddy woods. That's good, isn't it? And I did look into maybe buying a new computer for that, but it would have been too expensive, and it wouldn't have made anything any better. So a simple RAM upgrade on my iMac of the day did the job, and it's been perfect. I've had no computer glitches with Outwork since I started that.
I think Outwork runs much better on Mac. I know that's just my biased opinion. I used Outwork back in the day with Windows, and I just think Mac it just works better. And the built-in audio is just it just works fine. You don't need super fancy sound cards and all that. It just works bare bones.
Oh, I see. So you run Outwork just from the Mac Audio itself.
Yep, Mac Audio.
Oh, okay. I run it using an external. I've got a small 2-channel external interface that I use for Outwork, and
is that
I
your
just
MIDI?
take the feed from that.
Is that your MIDI controller as well? MIDI thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you showed me that. Yeah, I do want to.
That's right.
You need to tell me what that model is, because that's good to get the audio out of it as well. Because if I'm using built-in audio, I can't get it out without some special loopback software.
That's right.
Which isn't ideal, but
it's not ideal, and it's rather CPU intensive as well. So that's going to take away from Outwork a little bit. Now I use the Zoom. What was it? The little 2-channel one, the U24. It's probably not even on the market anymore, but you could definitely get one secondhand. And it runs the MIDI from the console into the PC, and it runs the audio out of the PC that I can then use for live streams or take it straight to a recorder or whatever else. It's great. Absolutely wonderful.
I was looking back on your old videos where you were talking about getting, building your Outwork organ. And now that you have it now, do you find that you practice more now? There's a bit of silence there.
We can edit that. No, we won't edit that. Yes is the answer to that. I find myself playing more. I'm not sure if practicing more would be the description there. Playing more, yes.
Do you prefer to, if you're learning that Bach, would you prefer to go to the church and be distraction free and learn it there, or no, bash at home?
No, I much prefer to stay at home. It's warmer. Access to cups of tea is always there, and
Cup of tea for the big fella.
To be honest, I'm undisturbed at home. The organ room is the only room we have upstairs in the house.
Okay.
So when I head upstairs, I'm on my own. It's a very tight staircase, so the dog can't come up and pester me. And Vanessa's usually doing something else, so she gives me an hour or two of her time that I can go upstairs and practice or play or record, and that works absolutely fine. So I must admit, since I've had the Outwork organ, I haven't been going to the church to practice at all. I sort of go to church to play services, and that's it. Yeah,
I find when I do a lot of my practice here at home, but when I go to the church, and I hardly ever record there as well now, except for with the choir group. But playing back on mechanical action, I'm just like, wow, I'm not pressing down the keys far enough.
Yep.
So but I should practice more on the the mechanical instrument.
True. A mechanical instrument's always going to be better for technique at the end of the day, isn't it? And I don't have access to a mechanical action instrument. Well, that's also not true. One of the churches in the parish has one of the heaviest, clunkiest mechanical actions in the world. So technically, that would be good for practicing something like V-door, a nice heavy mechanical action with all the couplers. Okay, dog, we're going to turn around and head home now. Is that all right? Come and get in the house. I have to speak German to the dog. He doesn't understand me.
I don't speak German. What?
Come on.
So at 50,000 subs, you're going to play the Elan litanies.
No, 45,000.
Oh, 45,000. It's not very far away.
Yes. It's just coming up soon. I think I've got 500 and something to go. That's right. And we're going to get the litanies from Alain. Oh, no, I've already, that's practiced up and ready to go. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. That's just, I just need to wait for the subs, and then
I promised I would record it at 3,000, right?
Yeah. So get going. Come on. If you haven't already, subscribe to James's channel and give it a thumbs up and all those things. Ring the bell, all that.
Ring the bell.
All that jazz.
That'll be good if we can do it at the same time. Litanies.
We can do it together. Yeah.
Yes.
We can do it together. Shall we both do it on the Nancy sample set?
I'm going to do it on Piotr's Green Positive.
Huh?
No, I'm just kidding.
I hope
I'll
not.
do it on Obervelak.
Yeah, actually, don't laugh. When I was at university, we had two organs in the university that music students had access to. One was a four manual typical British town hall concert organ thing, which was wonderful. It was absolutely great. That was my favorite organ. And we had a Dutch baroque organ in a second little concert hall, basically our lecture hall, and it was built according to baroque specifications. So even the width of the staircase going up to the console, and then the amount of room you had at the console was, I probably wouldn't fit at it now with my great big stomach, but in those days I could. And at the time I hated that instrument because it had original baroque tuning, it had baroque action, it was, clunked and clonked, and it sounded wonderful. It was a great instrument, but I didn't like it at the time. But now, with some retrospect and some maturity, I would love to go back and try it again. And that's the kind of organ with its weird tuning that it had. That would be great for the litanies. That bit at the end when it goes from the A minor to the A flat major chord, and say, "Oh my God!" That would. Oh my God! That would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. So maybe I will do it on Overfella.
on YouTube, all the Dutch organists, because those that don't have Hauptwerk, they're playing Vidor on these Dutch instruments, and like Vidor 6, and like there's a swell box. There's nothing, and it's just, but they can pull it off. It's just incredible. It
works. It works.
I don't even think they have the pedal compassato. It goes up to top D, and they just transfers down the octave, and they can still pull it off.
Exactly,
Incredible.
It works perfectly. I think that's the beauty of the organ world, though, isn't it? If you are a competent enough organist, you can play any music on any instrument. And obviously there will be some limitations. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be playing, the most utterly modern sort of French contemporary music on a tiny little Italian baroque organ with one manual and two stops. That's not going to work physically. But yeah, I mean, if it's doable, go for it. And if you can pull it off and make it sound good, I think that's something that the organ world needs to sort of remember. The organ, any organ, is basically a mini orchestra, isn't it? Which makes an organist a kind of conductor, and you've got to adapt to your playing conditions. You've got to adapt to the organ you're playing. Hold on, I have to avoid some mud here. You have to busy looking wistfully into the sun and walking through mud. Anyway, never mind. Should have had my wellies on today. You have to adapt to everything. And of course, if you are good and you know what you're doing, then you can make any instrument sound good. You have to get to know the instrument, get to know the room it's in, get to know its limitations, and go for it. And I think that's the thing I enjoy most about the organ world is that you can make any instrument sound the way you want with the music you're playing. It's something you can't do in a piano, you can't do in any other instrument. So it's that's the beauty of the organ world. But at the same time, and I've got to be careful what I say here, there are some organists out there who play the way they do on any instrument without adapting to that instrument, which is a shame because it could, the organ is such a versatile instrument. It can do anything you want it to if you let it.
I feel like with
that made sense.
Yeah, it does. I feel like with Hauptwerk, if I'm playing a piece of repertoire, French Romantic repertoire, I feel inclined that I have to use a French Romantic sample set. But what if I want to use an American Aeolian Skinner? Because what if I ever go to the States?
Bring it on.
Yeah, I feel that people would just criticize me for not using the correct sample set for the type of repertoire.
Yeah, well, this is something I often, well, when I was younger anyway, I don't now because I tend to avoid conversations like that with people, but there is a sort of a purist element in the organ world sometimes. If you're playing, let's say Bach, for example, then you should only play it on instruments of the period. You should only play it using your toes. You should only play it using this kind of fingering, this kind of phrasing, blah, blah, blah. And I think, yeah, well, that's fine. But what if I don't have access to one of those organs? What if the only organ I have access to is a 5-manual, 120 stop American concert organ? What am I supposed to do there?
Yeah, you're right.
You know, so of course you're going to play it according to that instrument. And if it's an electric action, and if it has a concave radiating pedal board, then you play the whole thing with your heels. You don't need toes at all.
How do you find the pedal boards in Germany? Because you were living in England for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
careful now. I'm careful now. Scotland.
Scotland. My land.
Scotland. Sorry.
Say Britain, and I'll
say Britain. Okay,
say Britain, and I'll let you off. Yeah.
So coming to the European places, their pedal boards are mostly straight, right?
Yep. And flat.
And flat, yes.
Yeah, exactly. It took a while to get used to, but it's like driving a car, isn't it? You can climb into a car and the controls are basically the same, but you have to sort of adapt to all these different ones. It took me a while to get used to playing flat pedal boards.
You didn't get a flat pedal board at home, though. Your pedal board's not flat at home, no.
It's concave, but it's straight.
Okay.
It's not concave. It's not radiating. Sorry, it's not radiating, but that's fine because most of the organs here. I can think of one organ here in the region that has that sort of, shall we say, the AGO pedal board, so concave and radiating.
Mm-hmm.
I can think of one. That's not very many. So all the rest of them are straight. So that's what you have to get used to. This is something I said last night in this stream. Actually, I don't know if you caught onto that. When we were talking about different Outwork organs, there's a guy who regularly writes in the comments of the live chat, and he sort of comments on my registration, and he's saying, "Oh, you're using this stop on the great, you're using this stop on the positive, and all that sort of stuff." And I corrected him and said, "Well, actually, the great is the lower manual in this organ, because when I set up my Outwork organs, I set them up the way the original organ or the real organ is set up.
Yeah.
So if the great is on the bottom, positive in the middle, swell at the top, or whatever else, I set them up that way, simply for the fact if I were to ever visit that church to play that organ, and I had it set up with the great in the middle and the choir at the bottom, that would be very confusing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So I set up the organs the way they're supposed to be set up. I have the versatility of 4 manuals in my own Outwork organ, and I have a couple of 4 manual sample sets, and of course I set them up the way they're supposed to be set up.
Do you find the top manual a stretch to keep playing it on all the time? No.
I have an orangutan body. I have rather long arms for my size. Something to do with Italian genes. I think my grandfather's family were sort of Italian.
American, Italian, French.
So I've got a short torso and long arms. There you go.
I used to set up, as the organ was intended, like, with the grate on the bottom, depending on the sample sets. But now, like, what are the chances of me going overseas to play this type of instruments? So I just chuck the grate in the middle. But
that's cheating.
I am cheating. I should put it back to the way it was, because it does make sense when you're playing the French stuff. Jumping manuals, you're not doing these big jumps from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, on most French organs that's true, but take this one that we play regularly, the non-C sample set, where it's got the swell as the 4th manual, the choir or the positive as the lower manual, and then the sort of bombard and great being numbers 3 and 2, respectively. And it's that's not typical French of the time, obviously. So that's
would the bombard usually be at the very top manual?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Traditionally speaking, the swell was always at the top. In Sans-Sulpice, 5-manual instrument, originally the 5th manual was the swell. And because Vidor was such a tiny little chap, Vidor got the organ builders of the time to change it. With the swell manual now being the 4th manual in Sans-Sulpice. They changed the solo and the swell round.
What's the 3rd manual in Sans-Sulpice?
The third manual is the positive. The second manual is Grand Orgue, and the bottom manual is the Grand Chœur.
Okay.
So I mean, it's got that sort of basic setup that most French organs now have, with the swell above the positive, and the lower manuals being the either Grand Orgue or Grand Chœur.
So could you reach the fifth manual there without any troubles?
Yeah. I've had the chance to play Saint-Sulpice a couple of times, and it's a very ergonomic console. It's much easier to play than you think.
I see the music desk is movable because it's so far away. If you're not using something.
That's an addition since the time of Daniel Bort. Daniel's not the biggest of chaps, to put it mildly, and Daniel does find it a bit of a stretch to get up to the solo. And
they're going to sample Saint Sulpice. That'll be a great sample set.
Oh my goodness, that'd be amazing. Imagine they'd sampled Notre Dame, and we'd all be able to play Notre Dame at the moment.
They should have, and it would have preserved it before the fire.
Exactly. I mean, it is thankfully coming back soon. It wasn't damaged in the fire. It was just sort of a bit of dust and soot. There was no actual damage to any of the pipework. So it is going back in as was, no changes, thankfully. But the choir organ was basically flooded. It wasn't mainly fire damage, it was flood damage, because of course the les pompiers, the firemen doing their job, they just had to drown the cathedral in as much water as possible. And the choir organ is basically right in the middle of the church where the fire was, or below where the fire was. So it got the most of the water. So the choir organ completely
died. The choir organ died pretty much.
It's gone. It's completely gone. Yeah. It's completely gone. It's a terrible shame. Yeah.
Have you played a recital? Have you played a recital there?
Not a recital, but I have played the organ on a few. I played the old organ in the 90s. I played the revised organ late 90s, early 2000s, and I once played the new organ with its new console. It's glorious. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm lucky to say that I'm fairly good friends with the organists at Notre Dame, and whenever I'm in Paris, I could always get the keys and get into the organ of an evening when the place was closed, no tourists around. And that's great.
You'll have to make a video there.
They don't like that. They don't like that. It's all very much under license, so they don't like that. But
then we need to preserve history. Preserve history.
We do.
Or we can just destroy it. We'll just burn it down again, right?
Mr. Flores, that is that nasty. Take that.
No, I just don't understand why we're not. We've got all this technology available. Why can't they allow recordings on it when it's not really going to make somebody super rich?
No,
and
no,
profitable.
it's I'm not sure what the politics behind that is, and I dare say in the future things will be slightly different. There's another wonderful Kawaii organ, the one in Rouen, Saint-Ouen in Rouen. That's a bit of a mouthful. It's a wonderful instrument, and it's the church itself is no longer an active church. It's just basically an empty building that they use for events, and there's this wonderful organ in there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to play the organ, you have to pay a fee. If you want to record the organ, you have to pay an enormous fee, and so on and so on. So I mean, it's theoretically the idea is, we know how important our organ is, and we want to keep it in good condition, so we want people to pay for the privilege.
Oh, fair enough.
And that's definitely it's definitely an option, and at least it makes the organ available to people. If you've got the money, then you can go and play the organ. And
just have to get Piotr to sample it.
Why not? There are so many wonderful instruments that should be sampled, and I have the feeling there are just still too many purists out there that think Outwork is this sort of this weird and wonderful modern electronic technology, that either they don't understand or they don't want to embrace. I'm not very sure. This is something else I talked about with Wayne yesterday in our chat. He's all for this, for preserving instruments for the future, and just also making these things accessible to people like
It's not
yourself.
we're trying to replace them. We're not trying to replace them, but it's giving people an opportunity on other sides of the world to be able to experience these instruments, because they'll probably never be able to get over there or get the time to get over there.
Well, there is, and then of course, don't forget we had a pandemic the last 18 months or so. So international travel was for quite a lot of people, including international organists, was very limited. And so imagine we'd had access to these instruments virtually, we could still have presented content on these instruments, let these instruments be heard. And with the advances in Outwork now, I mean, it is literally like hearing the original organ. If you set it up properly, get the audio quality high enough and things, and it's almost 100% like sitting in the church playing the original organ.
I think our YouTube friend Richard did a comparison on the sampled organ at Harlem and an actual CD recording, and they're very similar.
Was it Harlem or Rotterdam? It was one of that, yeah.
I think it was Harlem, but it was hard to tell them apart.
Yeah,
I thought anyway.
Very much so. That's right. And actually, theoretically, you could make the digital version sound even better because
it's cleaner.
It's not this exactly. It's not going to be out of tune. You're not going to have sort of buses and trams going in the background, all that sort of stuff. So theoretically, it could actually be cleaner and more authentic. But that's a different kind of politics in the organ world. Let's change the subject. Look. There's a lot of cows in the background.
Oh, well, some people might like the trains and the cars in the background in the recording. Makes it more
natural. It makes it more authentic. That's right. And then the ciphers and the notes that are out of tune, and the clonking of the mechanics as you play all the notes and couple everything together. But then again, Outwork has sampled all the mechanical sounds as well. So
yeah, it's incredible. Like even I think on Alessandria, if you close the swell too quickly, you can hear the hear the shutters. Right, yeah. It's incredible. That's just so realistic.
Wonderful. Exactly. I always thought if I'm working with Piotr Grabowski at the moment on a project here in Germany. I'm not allowed to say anything more about it now, but I'm going to ask him when he's over here if he's interested in recording my little Herschbach organ or sampling that as well, as a little, maybe a free sample set that he could offer. And there are so many sort of creaks and bangs and funny things going on in the background. I think that would be hilarious to have them sampled as well, so that everybody, anyone who watches my channel can then go and sort of play my organ as well with all the wrong notes, all the things that don't work, holes in the wind supply, all that sort of stuff. I think that would be quite funny. But yeah, that's what it's all about. Preserving these instruments for the future. I suppose. We do it in our daily lives, don't we? We have, how many backup discs do you have of all your stuff? We're backing up our lives. So why shouldn't we back up cultural installations as well? You can have a digital version of Picasso.
That's where they got that Picasso
hanging on the wall. So why can't we have a digital version of Saint-Sulpice in our music room?
Correct.
It's the same, isn't it? It's the same.
I was just thinking, if there's not very many Australian organs that have been sampled, mainly because we don't have these very nice historic instruments, what you do over there, your part of the world. I really like for the Sydney Town Hall.
I can think of a few. Yeah.
Tell me which
they've
one.
Done
Melbourne
They've
Town
done
Hall.
Melbourne Town Hall, haven't they?
Yep.
They've done it, haven't they?
Yeah, I've got that sample set. Yeah, I don't use it enough. I should spend more time playing around with it. It's just huge. I don't know what to really do with it, but it's got all this theatre organ stuff. Maybe you'd like it.
Oh, perfect. That sounds like my kind. Come on, you are Australia's top online organist, aren't you? So you should be promoting Australian organs.
I just made that up. There's another little parish church. Well, it's not a little parish church, but it's a parish organ. It's a Rieger organ, and my friend Jerry Martin, he uses that a lot as well. I should bring that out again.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, we need to get more. I'm very limited in my sample sets at the moment. I've been very fortunate that Piotr has given me all of his sample sets, which has saved me an absolute fortune. And I only have sort of 2 or 3 sample sets beyond Piotr's. So
what haven't we heard from, what sample sets haven't we heard on your channel yet from Piotr?
Ooh, quite a few actually. There are 2 smaller French organs that he sampled, which are really
that's right.
good.
Yeah. What's the Oleron and
Oleron and the other one?
Yeah, Beggar, whatever it's called.
That's the one. Big R. That's it.
Yeah.
Big R. That's it. And then there's a really weird sort of German baroque organ with baroque tuning. I haven't even installed that one yet. But I must get round to that. My problem is funding. A lot of these sample sets are so expensive.
Must be expensive.
You're talking, the thick end of $1,000 to get yourself a big sample set, and that's unfortunately just not on the cards for me at the moment. I dare say it might be in the future if things really pick up, which we all hope they do. This is, we're doing this as an extra string to the bow, I suppose, is the way you could put it. And it would be nice if it paid off, so that we could expand and enlarge. That would be kind of good.
You could put litanies on that strange German instrument.
That's an idea.
That's an idea.
That's it. Maybe I'll record it twice.
Yeah.
That is an idea. Maybe I'll record it twice. Right, dog, which way do you want to go? I have to ask the dog which way he wants to go. Do you want to go home? Or do you want to go through the town? He wants to go. This is difficult. The dog always has to tell us what he wants. He wants to go home today.
Let's go home. Okay.
Back round this way. He's obviously, that was quite a long walk, so he's obviously a little bit tired now. It's good for me though. This is the only exercise I get.
I don't think I would have as many sample sets as I do now if I had to start over again, because you can, you're mainly using Piotr's sets, and you can basically do the entire organ repertoire anywhere from what he has. There's no reason to go exploring further than that unless you have the money and time to do it, and resources on your computer and disk space. You can do everything.
Something I would like to look at in the future, I hope you can still hear me, there are power tools in the background. Something I would like to look into in the future is getting one of the originally installed, or shall we say, still in its home installation, one of the big American theater organs sampled, and really sort of at the quality that Grabowski is doing his samples. If they could do a theater organ sample set like that, I think that would be unbelievable. There are theater organ sample sets out there, and they're not bad. I'm not saying any of them are bad at all, but a real high quality theater organ sample set would be amazing.
Do you know any other theater organists on YouTube using Outwork?
Yeah, there are a few.
Okay.
There are a few. Not so many. Hold on, I have to. Come on. The dog has found a scent. Oh God. He's 11. Am I allowed to say this, lad? He's 11 years old, and say it. The older he gets, the hornier he gets. The older he gets, the hornier he gets. The older he gets, the hornier he gets.
We'll put that at the start of the video.
Nice. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the dog. So we have a dog on heat somewhere in the village.
We'll chuck Vitas laughing as well in the video, just for extra emotion.
Tulo.
Quanto tempo é que tem logo
That's a very good idea. That's a good idea. I wonder who it is. Oh God, he's found the scent. He's off.
He's found it. He found it again.
He's off. I think we might have to wrap it up soon.
We'll wrap it up.
He's about to suck my arm out of its socket. I think. Oh, come on. Yes.
Yeah,
anyway,
thanks,
so there we
thanks
are.
for taking the time out of your walk to chat to me.
No problem at all. I very much enjoyed it. Thank you for inviting me. It was,
didn't have an agenda of stuff to talk to. We just had a random talk, and it was great. It's great fun.
Be spontaneous. Learn to improvise.
Yes.
That's what life's all about. That's it.
I'm not very
When are we gonna-
spontaneous, but I'm learning. I'm learning.
When are we going to hear you improvise, James?
It's too scary. It's too scary.
Nah, it's not. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Go for it. Work out a sort of basic harmonic pattern of what you want to do, and then just go for it. And keep going. Keep going. I tried last night. I tried to do something in the French sort of pantomime style. A little pantomime style. That's difficult to say. And it didn't work, but I put it out anyway.
When you play the G major fugue, I'll do a boogie woogie improvisation.
Oh, that's good. That's good because that's never going to happen.
But it's on video now, so it's recorded. So
it's recorded. Damn, we're going to have to do it now. I must get round to doing these things. I have a sort of fear of trio sonatas. It's psychological, of course. There's nothing wrong with a trio sonata, but I just have this fear of playing them in public. I think it's because they're so transparent. There's nowhere to hide. We've talked about this before in other pieces. When you're playing something like B-dur on a huge French organ, you can beef up the chords. You can play a bit more. You can play a bit less. It doesn't really matter.
But you can still hear it. You can still hide behind some reverb. Just use the Nancy sample set.
That's right. The rear samples only with the maximum reverb.
Maximum reverb, yeah.
Hide behind it. That's it. Oh, James, this has been fun. Yeah, we must do this more often.
All right.
Must do this more often. I have to disappear. Sorry about that. But yes, but thank you for your time as well. Thank you for asking me to join you. Always good fun. And for all those people watching this, make sure you have subscribed to James's channel and give his videos a thumbs up. We all need to share the airtime, share the clicks, share the likes, and just spread the organ word in the organ world. Well, that sounds like I practiced that, didn't it?
All right. Thanks very much, Fraser.
Thank you. And we'll speak to you soon. Look forward to it.
See ya.
See ya.